Chapter 832. The fireball clashed with the ice sword, and a thunderous boom erupted in mid-air. The rampant spiritual energy resulting from the collision kicked up howling winds. As the ice sword shattered the fireball, Carl yelled angrily and lunged toward the flame serpent. The flame serpent did not back down. It opened its mouth widely to eject more fireballs and battled Carl. Carl wielded his ice sword and dodged the fireballs in the air, continuing his attacks at the flame serpent. The flame serpent weaved through the air like it was dancing. Its huge mouth and tail were also used as weapons to battle Carl head-on. The ice sword bloomed with frost when it slashed at the flame serpent. It caused the flame serpent to growl angrily, and it fought back with countless fireballs. It was the battle between a man and a flame serpent. One was a fire type, and the other was an ice type. They were natural opposites, so the battle was intense. However, Carl was clearly better at combat than the flame serpent. The flame serpent was equivalent to a sanctuary-level cultivator, but its fighting pattern was a bit simple. Carl was a peak sanctuary-level cultivator, and he was highly trained in combat. He basically overpowered the flame serpent. Luckily, the flame serpent had multiple support spells, so it could still fight back. Their battle was growing intense. The sky of the town was filled with frost and flames. The townspeople watched the battle in terror. It was a battle of the gods to them. It was a power that could not be wielded by ordinary people. Wilbur stared at the flame serpent and Carl. Carl looked cold. He wielded the ice sword and caused frost to be everywhere. Every attack he made on the flame serpent resulted in a huge bloom of frost. The flame serpent would be slowed down for a moment. It was evident that Carl's attacks came with a freezing effect. He was a peak sanctuary-level cultivator with ice-type abilities, so he was considered an elite even among sanctuary-level cultivators. It was no wonder that he was not afraid of the flame serpent. The flame serpent would be defeated if the battle dragged on. Wilbur started casting more spells with his hands. Resistant Fire Ring. Wilbur put his palms together, and an advanced spell instantly appeared on the flame serpent. Flames instantly ignited on the flame serpent. Those flames also granted the serpent a boost to its fire affinity. The flame serpent roared and spat a continuous chain of flames that went toward Carl. The people instantly screamed in shock. The flame serpent was as majestic and aggressive as a fire dragon. It was wrapped in flames and spat fire from its mouth. They wondered if that was the Lord of Fire Dragon's mount like in the legends. Carl did not back down in the face of endless flames. He raised his ice sword high with his hands and shouted, "Elite Ice Domain." Two massive wings made of ice instantly appeared behind him, causing the area around him to be frozen in ice. The flames that were aimed at Carl were extinguished by his Elite Ice Domain. Carl shouted again after the endless flames, "Ice Slash." Carl waved his sword in a crisscross motion, causing a cross-shaped blade energy to slash toward the flame serpent rapidly, carrying a bone-chilling coldness with it. The flame serpent could not dodge in time. It roared angrily and spat 5 fireballs toward the cross-shaped blade energy. Continuous explosions could be heard. The 5 fireballs were shattered and the ice slash landed on the flame serpent. The flame serpent roared angrily. Its huge body flew backward for over 100 meters because of the attack before it could regain its balance. The flame serpent glared at Carl with bloodshot eyes. There was a wound on the side of its body. There was no bleeding because the powerful ice sealed the wound. It also contained the power of ice that infected the body through the wound. The flame serpent was injured. However, that also triggered its ferocious nature as a beast. The flame serpent growled angrily and lunged toward Carl again. It spat a mouthful of flames. Carl scoffed coldly and said, "You ignorant animal,